What's up, everybody? Big Herc, Prison Talk Live. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope everybody got to enjoy some good weather like we did out here in California. And got to spend some time with family. Had some, pretty good weekend. Can't complain. And I wanted to bring you guys this Prison Talk Live today about the Aaron Hernandez. But before I get into that, I want to say shout out to everybody who's been supporting us from day one, everybody who's had their friends and family to subscribe to our channel, Fresh Out, Life After the Penitentiary on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who's been down with our Instagram and our Twitter, which is FreshOutSeries. Shout out to everybody who subscribed to the Patreon, patreon.com, and seen Chef V do his thing with Prison Spreads. Shout out to everybody who's been tuning in and supporting our channel and making us one of the realest shows on YouTube with this prison shit. You know, we want to keep it raw. And I got a raw-ass interview coming up for you guys probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We'll be editing. I had the homie in SAC from DPH, Nathan, a.k.a. Nate Dogg. Shout out to Nate Dogg. Doing real good now, man. Family man, but he has a hell of a story to tell. He did 17 years in level 4 in the state, which is no joke. And he's told his story. So we'll be showing that here in the next couple weeks. But tell your people to tune in. We got some real shit going down. If you got any questions for Prison Talk, hit us up at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. Check out our website at www.FreshOutSeries.com. If you're going to be going to jail, prison, you're dealing with a case, we do private consulting. Holler at us, shoot us an email. A lot of them motherfuckers out there is telling you bullshit and your lawyer is feeding you a dream. Holler at us, we'll keep it real. Now, back to the Aaron Hernandez. If you guys aren't familiar with Aaron Hernandez story, he was convicted in 2015 for murder of Odin Lloyd. And then he was just acquitted of a double murder. And actually, the double murder, he was acquitted probably about 2 weeks ago, right before he committed this, they said he hung himself. So, he was in the state. He was serving life without the possibility of parole. He got convicted of first-degree murder, and also he was convicted of weapons charges, 5 weapons charges. So he had no action at parole. There was also a couple other guys involved in this case. They got 4 to 7.5 years, 4.5 to 7 years. But yeah, what you guys what you feel about the Aaron Hernandez? Do you think that he actually took his own life? I mean, this is a guy who just beat a double murder. They said he left 3 suicide notes, and they said, one of the notes was to his fiance. One was to his daughter, and one was to his prison lover. And the rumors are that Odin Lloyd had some information on him being bisexual, and that's why Aaron Hernandez killed him. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know if he was bisexual, but, he had just beat a double murder, and then he decides to hang himself. And I guess under Massachusetts state law, once you file for appeal, it's considered abatement. And now the New England Patriots, because he's not technically guilty, owe his family or his estate $6 million. That's what it was. That's the news that I've seen on TMZ. So let me see what you guys had to say about this. Somebody said he killed himself because his case was rolled back due to his death and his daughter would get $15 million. There you go. I mean, man. To hang yourself, and then I've been looking at the cells and how they're set up. I don't know what the fuck you would use to put around your neck and jump off of. I don't know what angle you would hang yourself because the lights are bolted to the wall. The walls are cement. I don't understand how it went down. You know what I mean? I mean, people kill themselves in prison, but they usually jump off a tier. Maybe they'll go into a mop closet or something, and they got a rafter, and they'll jump off of that and hang themselves off of that. But in the cell, it's hard to say, man. Somebody said, You know what? Somebody said, oh yeah, and I'll say the shout outs for the end. I'll do all the shout outs around 3:25, 3:30. But somebody said he a real nigga, did it for his family. Maybe he did, man. Maybe he did it for his daughter, man. I mean, he knowing that he knew the law at that point, and he didn't want to, make sure that they had something after this whole ordeal. Maybe the nigga just decided to say fuck it. You know what I mean? But like I said, a lot of rumors going around now. They're saying that the bisexual rumors. He had a high school lover, and supposedly he gave his property to a gay guy or to his prison lover, and $50,000 watch and his other property before he killed himself. So it's hard to say, man. I mean, somebody said, do I think he have a gay lover? I mean, I don't know the cat, man. I mean, if he, in college, I never, I didn't know what the dude was into. I know he got a fiance, but man, you know what I'm saying? One of the things they do whenever somebody does something like this is they do a character assassination. They say all type of crazy shit to justify why he did it. I mean, it could be you, and they can say, oh, he had a dick in his ass, and he had got caught sucking somebody's penis or got his cheeks blowing out. They'll make up shit. So, they'll defame you. They'll say, oh, he had a mental issue. I mean, these motherfuckers, man, they make up all kind of shit. So, I mean, like I said, but shit happens, I don't know what he was going through mentally. I don't know what his his big plan was, but he hung himself, and that's what they're claiming, and he had suicide notes. So, yeah, man, it's pretty crazy, man. Especially, I've seen guys fighting life sentences, and fuck, man, these guys still got a hope. So, when you talk about, people killing themselves, usually it's the guys who don't give a fuck. They're not fighting their case. They let their hygiene go. They're just really depressed. Maybe their mom died, or the last person in their family died, or their wife left them, or something dramatic happened. But man, I find it hard, man. I mean, I ran across one dude when I was in Long Park USP. He was fighting his case. He was, you know what I'm saying? He's a pretty sharp dude, man. And then they said, the next thing you know, they said, you know what I'm saying? The dude hung himself. So I found that weird too. You know what I mean? The dude had no personality traits that said he was suicidal that I saw through my association with him. But, I guess everybody's got their way of coping with their time. And, they said by hanging himself, he had to use some type of bed sheets or something. I'm just trying to figure out what angle, you know what I mean, did he do that at? And somebody said, oh, I'd rather die than do life in prison. Well, it depends on your mentality, man, and if you're going to fight first. If you feel that you don't have nothing to live for, maybe you're one of the type of people who just say, fuck it. But, you know what I'm saying? As far as, a guy who's fighting his case, it's hard to say that this guy would all of a sudden just, days after beating a double murder, decide that he's good. It doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Somebody said gay or no gay, he took one for his family. Maybe he did. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he did. But, it is what it is, man. It's to the victims, you know what I mean? In the cases, I don't know them, but, that's a whole nother story right there. But I just want to speak on this because, he's a high-profile athlete, went to University of Florida, 2013 draft pick by New England Patriots. Just a very athletic dude. But, it just goes to show, man, that you never know what a person's capable of, what a person's going to do, you know what I mean, how they'll handle a situation, But I just figured I'd throw it out there, see what you guys thought about it, because it's pretty shocking to hear that, even though people kill themselves in prison all the time. But, I mean, the numbers aren't no different than people on the street. People on the street, I feel, are killing themselves, and they have way more choices. So, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But, yeah, man, somebody said they're just trying to smear his character so no one looks up to him as a badass alpha. I hear you. That could be one of the things too. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they're coming out with all this gay shit. They weren't saying this shit when he's alive. You know what I mean? But now all of a sudden he was a gay guy who had a prison lover who was taking it into culo. So, or dishing it out or whatever the case may be. But, you know, it's just, like I said, there's always going to be rumors after the fact. And, you know, it doesn't make sense. I'm opening it up for regular questions now because, you know, I know there's a lot of stuff to talk about and we have such a short amount of time. I want to make sure we get in some good stuff today. Somebody says, have you ever heard of a prisoners with life sentences still get on parole for good behavior? Not in the feds, man. In the feds, if you got a life, I've seen dudes get lives overturned and get immediate release. I've seen that. I haven't seen, there's no parole in the feds. In the state, I don't know how the state gets down. I don't know if there's any type of programs. Usually the guys who are getting a life off are guys who are working with maybe some type of prison policy group that has college pre-law students who are fighting for their case. You know, they got programs for guys like that. You know, and that's usually how guys are getting action at getting out that were wrongfully convicted or just doing time who are trying to get the cases off of them. But yeah, man, it's, you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Doing time in general, it's fucked up. Somebody said, how do prisoners constructively deal with depression? Usually working out, man. You working out, you are going to school, you are, you know, you got guys that just, you know, they fucking play cards every day, gamble, watch sports. Everybody has their own way of doing their time. You know what I mean? Everybody has, everybody has, you know, different ways of coping, different coping mechanisms. You know, I worked out a lot. I went to the law library. I basically, you know, had my little group of friends that I socialized with, and that's how I did my time. Other guys, they play sports. They softball, baseball, basketball, you know, soccer. You know, they played musical instruments. They did art. Everybody has their own way of coping with the situation. What car did I ride with in prison? I didn't ride with a particular car, but my cellmate was Mexican, and he was from Northern California, so I had his back. You know what I mean? He looked out for me, and basically that's what it was. So, you know, I wasn't per se in their car, but one of the stipulations is that, you know, when you have a cellie that's in the mix, you can't let nobody run up in there on him and not take defense. So if somebody ran up in there, I'll split their wig. How do guys get 20-inch arms in prison? A lot of motherfucking dips, a lot of back arms, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is just, you know, weighted dips, water bags, you know, with the tricep extension, shit like that. Somebody says, what does level 1, 2, and level mean in state prison? Level 1 through 4 is basically the criminal category as far as the type of person you're doing time with. Level 1 is probably pretty low. Level 1, you know, it's the criminals are probably not, you know, they don't have a lot of priors. Maybe they're not really violent. The crimes are maybe just very minor. When you start talking about level 3, level 4, like the homie I just interviewed, he was active. He was up in there putting in work, but everybody's got a blankie. And that means that you have a shank at all times. I mean, shit is going down. I mean, you can be walking to the chow hall and it kicks off. Level 4 is basically, you know, high desert, Pelican Bay. I forgot what other one, but you know, these are highest level prisons where they house violent criminals, and it's no rehabilitation up in there. You basically, you got to have your mind right in order to get up out of there, you know. Where's Chef V? Chef V, where you at, man? You know, we're trying to get him back in the kitchen, make some more spreads for you guys. He's been busy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm working on getting Chef V back in front of the camera for you guys. Somebody said, yeah, level 4 is max as, level 4 is max as hell. Ain't no joke. Level 4, man, motherfuckers are getting stuck every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day, motherfuckers are getting stuck. People dying. It's just a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of politics, and you got to ride up in there. Ain't no sitting on the sidelines. Somebody said, can you get roids in prison? Motherfuckers who are bringing in drugs in prison are trying to make money. So the drugs that have been brought in prison are heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine. People are trying to get high. They're trying to make money. I mean, if a dude is bringing in some steroids through a guard, you know, it's so low-key and minor, you know what I'm saying? He's not really putting it out there like that. But most cats, you know, they're trying to bring in drugs to make money. They're trying to flip their bread up in there. And basically, you know, drugs, it builds alliances. It's what everybody uses as the method to control the prison. So, you know, it's not a big thing with dudes bringing in steroids. That's like if you're maybe if a dude is at a camp or something like that, and he's doing short time, but dudes doing a lot of time, they don't even look at that. They're like, fuck it, I work out on a natch, you know. Did I ever get jumped before? Yeah, I got jumped on the streets. I got jumped by like 6 niggas on the street, but not in prison. Wasn't nobody jumping me up in prison. Yeah, somebody says, what was the most corrupt thing you seen a guard do? There was a guard at Sheridan, FCI. White cat. Weird motherfucker, right? Used to walk around the unit, didn't really say too much to anybody. Always had a weird look on his face. Anyways, man, this motherfucker, man, apparently had molested and beat up this young girl. I don't know if it was on his way to work or on his way leaving work. Left her for dead on the side of the highway. Came to work. I think came to work, act like nothing happened. The girl climbed out of the ditch, made it to the fucking road, told somebody, and basically they found out and they came and arrested him on the compound. Now, I know when he got to prison, he got his motherfucking wig split because apparently the girl's dad was connected to some bike gang out there in Sheridan. So, yeah, that was the crazy shit that I know of, was that motherfucking guard was a piece of shit when he, you know what I'm saying, molested that little girl and left her for dead on the side of the highway. I've never been stabbed, you know what I'm saying? Nah. Somebody says, somebody keeps mentioning Texas rapper SPM. I've heard of him. The homie told me about him. You know, I haven't done no research on him. I don't have access to interviewing the guy, but, you know, I heard his case is pretty crazy, but I have no direct information on the guy. Somebody said, who's the most intimidating, scariest inmate you've ever seen? What race was he? Intimidating, scariest. I mean, you got a lot of niggas that look scary in general, man. Look like, you know what I'm saying? Niggas look like they're ready to kill some shit. But you're not feeding into a fear of another man because it's a survival instinct that kicks in when you're doing time like that. You're not walking around thinking, oh, this nigga's scary, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But you know there's some cats up in there that will split wigs at the drop of a dime. And I remember there was a cat in Rampart, they call him Peoples, a Cuban dude. He'd been down since the Cubans came over here and they locked them all up, and 20-something, maybe 30 years, and I said he had a lot of stickings underneath him back in the day. So he was ripped up. Nigga probably was in his 50s, but he was about his business, they said. You know, I used to say what's up to him, whatever, small talk conversation, but you don't really buddy up next to people like this because you know what they're capable of. And, you know what I'm saying? He was, he was known to put in work, you know what I mean? Peoples was no joke, you know? And there was a couple other cats up in there who were just, hitters, man. You could look in their eyes and tell that at any given time that, you know what I'm saying, if it's time to go, they would go. And that's just how it is, trained to go. Somebody said, why was a single cell? I don't understand that question. Do I know anything about California prisons? Just like I said, the feds, man. The state, I was in California Youth Authority, you know what I'm saying, juvenile hall. I didn't do state time. I did federal time. But like I said, the homie Nathan, who's doing very good right now from SAC, from DPH, he has an interview, and we're going to be showing that interview here in a couple weeks probably. And he was in California State Prison, man, and he'll give you the lowdown. Cali Muscle, shout out to Cali. He was in state. He was in San Quentin. You know, his interview's on our website. He can give you some insight on California state prisons. I'm not going to speak on what I don't know, and I don't pretend to be something I'm not. So, you know, I'm only going to talk about what my experience was, but everybody's experience is something different. You know, motherfuckers who did time in Tracy, Soledad, you know, San Quentin, New Folsom, their experience is different than the USP Lompoc, Sheridan FCI, and Herlong. So, you know, I only speak on what I know. Somebody said, do female COs have sex with prisoners? You know what? Yeah. I know a homie, a partner from up north. He knocked a motherfucking prison guard. And basically, when he got out, he moved in with her. You know what I'm saying? So he actually bumped her man out, and she hooked up with him, and they, you know what I'm saying, rode off into the sunset. You know, and I know a couple other cats that was at Terminal Island that was fucking prison guards, females. They was in there actually slanging coochie. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers was paying for the coochie. So, you know, yeah, prison guards, females do get knocked by inmates. And I walked up on a female guard one time, tonguing a motherfucker in the motherfucking stairwell. I act like I didn't see it. So I know female guards do fuck with inmates. Niggas got game. You know what I'm saying? They got game. So that's what's up. Somebody said thoughts on YouTuber Joe from After Prison Show. I've never watched After Prison Show. But what I did see, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know what his experience was. But all I know is that Fresh Out, Life After Penitentiary is the realest shit on YouTube. We got the realest interviews. We're not doctoring up, saying all this bullshit, you know, making up stories. A lot of motherfuckers, man, make up a lot of shit to try to make things seem over the top. I'm not going to tell you about a bunch of over the top shit. I know some shit that went down. I know shit that I've seen, and that's what I speak on. But when people start, you know, putting extras on it, man, I'll tell you right now, a lot of dudes up in prison were quiet as church mouses and weren't doing shit. So when they get out, people think, oh my God, nah, motherfucker, they was up in there quiet. Motherfuckers was invisible. So a lot of shit you hear, you gotta know the caliber of the person that you're listening to before you can take what they're saying to heart. That's all I gotta say. Any stories? Somebody keeps asking about any stories about white supremacist gangs. What were they like? I'm black, bro. I don't, you know, white supremacists was not hanging out with me. The ones in the county, I wasn't chopping it up with them. They don't fuck with blacks. They don't get out like, you know what I'm saying? There's no dialogue. I knew some cats in Lompoc, USP, that was like some skinheads. And the only reason we chopped it up, because, you know, I used to live in Huntington. There's a lot of skinheads in Huntington, so we chopped it up a little bit. And then when I was at another joint, there was a cat up in there. He rolled with the white boys. But, I mean, you know, he only talked to me in a law library because he needed help with his paperwork, you know, as far as filing his appeal. But, you know, white supremacists, man, they're not conversating with blacks. I'm not in their mix, you know what I'm saying? Your best thing when you're in prison is to mind your motherfucking business. You want to be in the mix? Okay, yeah, you can be in the mix and basically be out there, you know, getting your wreck on, but you're not trying to worry about what the Serranos got going on, what the Crips got going on, what the Damus got going on, with the North End. You ain't no gossiper. This ain't Gossip Nation. You're not doing TMZ in prison. That'll get your motherfucking wig split. Somebody say, you ever heard of SOS Sons of Samoan Gang? Yeah. I got a shout out to a lot of the homies in Hawaii. I had a lot of cool partners that I did time with. That was at San Bernardino with me, and that was at Sheridan with me. That was from Hawaii. We was all cool. We used to work out together. You know what I'm saying? I even visited one of the homies that I did time with, and he was, you know, Big J. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's out. You know what I mean? And we still chopped it up. So I was cool with a lot of Hawaiians in prison. We were good dudes, man. Solid people. But yeah, man, somebody said nonviolent prison in California, I said prison are eligible under Prop 57 under good behavior and programs. Yeah, I heard about that. You know, they're trying to lighten the load because all these privatized prisons are making a killing. So they're trying to do something different and put these people to work, which is better than housing motherfuckers, you know, for nothing. A lot of these dudes, they don't need to be, once you've learned your lesson, you need to get the fuck out. You sit up in there and you got guys, some guys don't want to be better people. Some prisoners are just straight animals. They want to be animals and they have no intention of being anything productive in society. those people need to be separated from the guys trying to do their time and get out to their families. People trying to get out to their families, man, they have the opportunity to participate in a program to get their shit together so they can get on their feet and make something, man, of themselves. These people are part of our society in one way or the other. They're going to get out. I'd rather them get out on some positive time than to get around some fucking knuckleheads and be caught up in all the bullshit and not be able to support themselves when they do get out. That leads to committing more crimes. Somebody says, thoughts on North Korea? Do you got the power? Thoughts on North Korea? Do I have the Powerball numbers? Hey, man, I wish I did have the Powerball numbers, man. We all be rich in this motherfucker. North Korea, you know, the motherfuckers pushing the line, some crazy shit, man. I mean, you know, you got Trump up in there, you know, putting his moves down, and he's one of them type of dudes who, you know, try to swing a heavy bat. And you know, North Korea, man, they you know, they want to let motherfuckers know that they about their business, man. So, you know, it's a hell of a situation. Somebody says, what is worse, state prison or federal prison? I would say state, man. State, because politically it's no joke. If you from SAC, you're going to be putting in work with the SAC card. If in the state, if there's a motherfucker from your hood and he's a piece of shit, it's up to you to check him in. Or you got to check in because you got to basically police your own. Excuse me, the feds, they have a lot of politics, but nothing like the state, man. The state is a whole nother level. It's you're talking pretty much everybody from California in California prison. So you don't have guys from like DC, Atlanta, Chicago, Florida in the same institution. It's different. State is consolidated to a particular demographic with racial politics, gangs, neighborhoods. It's totally different than the feds. Totally different. But yeah, man. You know, I want to go ahead and yeah, somebody's talking stupid. I'm gonna go ahead. Let me see where you at. Oh, you moved too fast, piece of shit. But yeah, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to whoever wants to do their shout outs now, and you know, get that rolling. And like I say, man, I got much love for those who've been tuning in and who have been supporting our channel, shooting us emails with the questions, and basically participating on the live stream. You had a good turnout today, man. Y'all really, you know, had a lot to say about this Aaron Hernandez shit, man. Much love from London. New Paltz, New York. Much love. South Los Gang. Shout out. Shout out to Scotland, UK. Shout out to Arkansas. Somebody said, do you fuck with Drake? Nah, I need to fuck with him. Get some of that bread. He getting paper. Shout out to Linwood, California. Shout out to UK, Brighton. Shout out to London again. Shout out to North Carolina. Portland, Oregon. Shout out to Minnesota. Shout out to Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to Serbia. Shout out to the Bay Area, Hayward. Shout out to Jackson Heights, North Carolina, New York City. Shout out to Jacksonville, Florida. Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to DC. Shout out to Beatmore. Shout out to Toronto. Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to Houston, Texas. Shout out to Boston. Shout out to Southside Compton. Shout out to Shreveport, Louisiana. Shout out to Massachusetts. Shout out to Gardena. Shout out to New Jersey. Shout out to Stockton. Shout out to Laredo, Texas. Shout out to Nambia. Shout out to Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out to Utah. Shout out to Bakersfield. Shout out to Trenton, New Jersey. Shout out to Israel. Shout out to South Carolina. Shout out to Tyler, Texas. Shout out to Radu. Shout out to Mexico. Shout out to Sacktown. Shout out to 8 Mile. And shout out to Anaheim, 602 Arizona, Laurel, Maryland, Bendover. All right, shout out to Puerto Rico. Shout out to Norway. Shout out to, Houston, Texas, baby, in the house again. Yeah, man, you know, like I said, the content's coming in. We got some raw shit for y'all. We keep it gangster. You know, keep the questions rolling in, man. And if you ever need somebody to come to your town and speak to the kids, motivational speak, you know, kick some real shit, holler at us. FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. we're available to come and do some talks with the kids and, you know, share some positivity, man, because, you know, it's a lot of negative shit out there. Shout out to the Bronx, New York. Shout out to Haiti. Shout out to Southgate. Shout out to 209. Somebody said the Norte gang. Shout out to Bendover. Shout out to Winter Springs, Florida. Shout out to Harlem, New York. Shout out to Thack, the 916. And yeah, man, you guys, you know, life is all about change, man. It's about being positive. You know, there's a lot of there's enough negativity out there. And, you know, the things I'm trying to share with you guys about this prison shit is more on a positive level. You know, I like to tell stories, keep it real. And I like to bring you guys interviews so you can have a perspective on what the fuck is really going down behind those walls. Shout out to Fort Worth, Texas. Jackson Heights, New York. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But yeah, the Aaron Hernandez story was crazy, man. It's, you know, but life goes on. I mean, you know, hope everything works out for whoever's involved in that situation. You know, I don't really know what direction to go in that to take that, but you know, I'm sure there'll be more stuff in the news about that. But yeah, man, good feedback today on you guys. And I'm gonna try to have another good topic for you next week. I'm not sure what I'm gonna talk about yet, but it'll be the same time, 3 p.m. on Monday, and we'll have a cracking, man. And hopefully, you know, everybody will tell their friends so we can make it even bigger next week and have this shit cracking like a big party. Somebody said, I just left his wife's brother Jenkins in Hartford, Connecticut. Huh, that's crazy. They're on somebody on Facebook. But yeah, shout out to Misty on Facebook. But yeah, man, murder or suicide. You know, I don't know. I never contemplated taking my life up in there, but I wasn't doing life. But I knew cats doing it, and they ain't never discussed taking their life with me. So I know, you know, it's crazy. Suicide is, it takes a hell of a motherfucker to put that suicide in. But yeah, you guys, next week, same time, 3 p.m. We'll get some hot topics going for y'all. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the prison talks jump off 6 a.m. And Monday at 3 p.m. was when we have the live stream. You know, and I'm gonna try to get another homie in here with me here real soon to kind of give you guys a different perspective on this whole prison shit, so you guys can kind of see what's cracking. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up and keep it swift. Give a couple more shout outs before I go. Shout out to Redwood City. Somebody asked me about Rikers. I got a homie that was at Rikers that I'm trying to get on the show. So if I can get him on the show, I'll have him talk about Rikers, you know, to you guys, so you guys can get a, you know, get it from the, you know, get it from his mouth. You know what I mean? I'm not going to speak on, you know, secondhand stuff like that, because it, you know, it's always better to hear from the horse's mouth. Somebody said, what I know about the 5%ers, I know in prison, that's the Muslim brothers, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know about 5%ers out here. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. And, you know, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Check out our website, www.FreshOutSeries.com. And, yeah, man, you guys, if you guys got anything you want to, you know, touch on, shoot us an email, FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. And I'm going to come back with y'all next week and chop it up. Shout out to Myrtle Beach, Florida. And shout out to everybody who's been down with us from day one, supporting our channel. Keep subscribing. Keep telling your friends to subscribe. Let's turn this thing up, you know what I'm saying? And let's get it popping the most, because Fresh Out, Life After the Penitentiary is the realest shit on YouTube. Holler back at us. All right. Catch y'all next week, man. I'm out.